Kia ora koutou, nau mai, haere mai, hello and welcome to Flourishing Through Positive Education. My name is Natalie Calder and I am the founder of Being Education Learning to Flourish, as well as the author of the Classroom Connections project. My goal in life is to help school teachers transcend rising adolescent mental health rates by providing scientifically proven, time-effective wellbeing techniques to use in the classroom. My hope is for a future where children can realise their unlimited potential and abilities, and to inspire education to include learning about who we are being in order to make better decisions about what we do. So welcome and thank you so much for joining me here today. It's educators like you that really are architects for a brighter and kinder future in which our students and all children can really flourish. So thank you for taking the time to join me today, and hopefully you enjoy what we're talking about. So today we are going to look, as we go into a new year, as we forge on into 2024, I thought it was really important that we talk about the importance of the power of relationships. And I know as educators we all know that it's important to kind of spend time establishing relationships at the start of the year, but I just really wanted to talk about that and give you some practical things that you can perhaps do or use in your own classroom. So I'm really excited about this today because I've actually just come back. I've spent 4 days away at a really beautiful festival that is held in Christchurch each year called Spirit Fest. And I went to this festival with a beautiful group of friends of mine, ones that I don't see often enough, you know, as time goes on, as we get older, we don't always have that time to commit to our really good friendships, but I went there knowing that I was going to be able to make the most and build some new memories with these wonderful people. So I was able to do that, but not only that, I was able to really build new connections, new friendships, and it just was really great timing because it just highlighted to me just how important relationships are and how that sense of belonging and inclusion that we get from spending time with like-minded people that get us and that we really connect to, can really give us a really powerful sense of well-being. So I'm really excited and energised to share some of this learning with you today. So first of all, first part of this video, we're going to look at relationships between teacher and student and just how important those are. And then we'll sort of look a little bit into how we can help foster positive relationships in our classroom amongst students. So, yeah. So I guess a good place to start really is that we do, as humans, we do have what's called a negativity bias. We do tend to sort of remember or focus on potentially negative things that happen to us. In fact, we do actually have more words in the English language, at least, that are for negative emotions compared to positive. So we do have this in us, but it isn't actually our fault. It is something that we were born with, and it was part of what helped us survive as early Homo sapiens. So basically back in those days, we didn't have the technologies that we do today that can keep us or protect us from the environment, from predatory animals, injury, health issues, all of those things. And, you know, in those days we could die from having a toothache. So what we really needed to be able to do was build connections with people around us. We needed to be able to cooperate. We needed to be able to rely on the people around us to look after us if we needed it. And so that's what's sort of inbuilt this need for us to have positive relationships. Now, we don't face those same threats today, or hopefully most of us don't. However, we do still have that innate need of acceptance and close relationships just for our own sense of well-being. In the classroom environment, positive teacher-student relationships have been proven to lead to better academic achievement, more positive classroom climate and therefore student behaviour, motivation and engagement by students, student social and emotional development, overall long-term outcomes for school, and just their sense of belonging and inclusion, which we talked about a little bit earlier. And the real bonus for us is that not only are teachers that have good, not only do students benefit from this amazing or these good relationships, but also teachers that do have quality relationships with their students actually report having a higher sense of well-being themselves and also a higher sense of job satisfaction. So, and that makes sense, if you're feeling like you're making a difference, if you're feeling like you're building positive relationships, and of course you are feeling more valued in your job. So it goes two ways. So Longobardi and Satani in 2021, they conducted a study to measure relationships between students' pro-social behaviour and the teacher-student relationship, alongside academic achievement and then their attitude towards school. And students perceived academic achievement, pro-social behaviour and attitude to school was also positively associated by the closeness they felt to their teacher and the perceived relationship that they had. So there is some strong evidence that this is the case. Sethi and Scales in 2020 also used surveys to gauge how high-performing teachers built relationships with their students. And there were 5 developmental elements that were really seen within all of those that all of those teachers used. They expressed care, they challenged growth, they provided support, they shared the power, and they expanded the possibilities for those students. So students felt that they experienced care from teachers when they took an interest in their personal lives. They understood them and didn't give up on them, amongst other things. So teachers established these notions with students through their words and actions. Some of the ways we can really focus on doing this, and I'm sure you're probably doing these anyway, but they can be just some things that you're thinking about as you go into the year, and they might be things that you might be able to develop some of your lessons around or just highlighting. So getting to know the students and what their interests are, just so that then, you might each morning, even just if it takes 30 seconds, be able to check up on them. Hey, how's your ballet going? Or how's piano going? Or whatever it is. It just shows the student that you've not only listened, but that you're interested in what they do. Getting to know their temperament, and that can take a little bit of time, but just getting to know so that you can sort of sense when they're not perhaps feeling their best, and that might just mean that gives you the opportunity to sort of take them aside and just check in on them. They may be fine, but if you get to know their temperament, you can then gauge or make a bit of a judgment about how they're feeling each day, and if you think they need it, go in and check up on them. Activities create a positive classroom climate, and we're going to look at some of those a little bit later on in the video. Showing respect to them, not just expecting respect because you're the teacher, but also giving that respect as a give and take. So giving respect to those students and who they are and what they come to this classroom with, all of the things that have made them who they are. And another one is trying to learn their names as quickly as possible. And I know that can be hard, particularly if you're in a really big school or if you're new or any number of things, but it really does make a difference when the teacher knows your name and can call you by name as quickly as possible. So the beauty of that is that these things also have a positive effect on student relationships. So the students observe these positive relationships between students and the teacher. You are modelling respectful, inclusive relationships as you go through and do these things at the start of the year. And that's a really great way for students to see how they can also do the same thing. Classroom activities aimed to promote a pro-social classroom environment will also assist in the student behaviour. So taking part in conversations that all children can relate to and all can participate in benefits student inclusion. And that's when you're thinking about building maybe your classroom treaty at the start of the year. What are the things that we all need to be able to do in order to ensure that everybody feels safe, everyone has a space here in the classroom where they feel they belong and that they're included. So positive peer relationships engender a sense of belonging and a culture of excellence. They also show students that in this space they can be heard, they can be seen, and that really impacts their academic performance as well as their whole sense of well-being. So throughout your life, you will have seen just the number and strength of your relationships and how they do affect your mental and physical well-being. Children haven't had that opportunity yet, so they really need to explicitly be learning these things. They will know that with certain people they feel good and with certain people they may perhaps don't, but they may not necessarily understand what it is about those relationships that makes them feel safe or unsafe or included or not included. They may not have that understanding of what's driving the relationship. So it is really important. So the benefits of social connections and good mental health are huge. Proven links include lower rates of anxiety, depression, higher self-esteem, greater empathy, and more trusting and cooperative relationships. Strong, healthy relationships can also help to strengthen your immune system and help you recover from disease, may even lengthen your life. So really, really important. Relationship researchers have actually also identified that when somebody is invested in your well-being, simply because they care about you, you actually feel like the other person gets you, that they understand you, they care for you, are validating your experiences, and those aspects are the hallmark of what's called perceived responsiveness. When somebody feels seen, they will feel loved and connected. And you may not necessarily have the same innate connection with each child in your class, but taking that time to get to know them all for who they are really does pay off. So I just wanted to go through and have a look at some of the things that you can do in your classroom to start off the year. So we have the amazing opportunity, like as I've been saying, to explicitly teach and model respectful and positive relationship building in our classrooms. And this is a skill that will serve them well in life. Some activities that I've used in the past that I think would definitely be worth having a look at for yourself this year. First one would be going through and identifying and sharing students' character strengths. There's numerous reasons to get into your character strengths at the start of the year. A lot of those are to do with, a lot of the benefits include building self-esteem and self-confidence things in self. But what I really love as well is that once you have identified your character strengths and gone into those, and I do have an earlier video about that which you can look at if you'd like to learn a bit more about how to go about that. But once you've done that, the actual art of sharing those strengths and talking about them together as a group gives students the opportunity to connect with each other, to go, oh, hey, one of my strengths is teamwork as well. Wow, that's the same as you. Or, oh, gee, I'm going to work on my patience or my bravery this year. Oh, you need to too, you know. And it sort of just gives them that language to be able to go, oh, wow, these are things we have in common that we may have never thought we had in common. And just builds a little bit of a sense of connection with other children that they may not have felt any connection with earlier. So that's a really nice one. Another one that I really enjoy, and the children seem to really enjoy too, is random acts of kindness activity. So what we do there is draw someone's name out of the hat and then do something kind for them each day. Now we do that we do that anonymously. So that is something that children don't necessarily call out, oh, this is my person, or I'm going to do nice things for you. It's just a real under the radar, just trying to secretly kind of do a nice kind thing for someone else in the classroom each day of that week. And then we have a really fun, at the end of the week, have a fun little go at choosing, oh, who was the person, who do you think was your kindness person, and that can be quite fun, sharing those and trying to guess for each other. And I think the thing with that, depending on the age of your children, you might need to talk a little bit, or you probably will need to talk a little bit beforehand about some of the things that are kind that you could do. but they'll have lots of things themselves. And it's really important that that you make it known that it's not buying things for someone or doing their homework for them or their work for those things, but it's just those little gestures that are really important, actually do mean something, and that again that can create those connections with children that perhaps would not have seen a connection earlier between themselves. So that's really cool. Okay, another really cool activity is the positive classroom environment Y chart. Now, if you go onto my website, which is www.beingeducation.co.nz, there is a download on there for a Y chart in the resources section. It actually doesn't have a title, and you can just put your own title in there depending on what you're wanting to look at. But for this particular activity, I would suggest doing a positive classroom environment Y chart, and that is a really good way to share ideas about what students think makes a positive environment, and then also, you might build your classroom treaty around those principles. So it gives students an opportunity. You might want to send them away as groups and come up with their own things. So what does a positive classroom look like? What does a positive classroom sound like? And what does a positive classroom feel like? So it's really, really great way to get their ideas and make sure that you are including everybody in so that they feel they've got a sense of belonging within the classroom, that they know that this place is somewhere that they can go that is safe, and what they feel matters is considered and is seen as important by the teacher and by the other students. So head to the website if you'd like to have a go at doing that. I really recommend that activity at the start of the year. And one last activity is called Buddy Strength. So that is where you've obviously done your strengths first before you do this, so you know what the strengths of different people are. But then just each person in the class is given one other person, either given or they can choose in this particular activity, one person. And just throughout the week, just taking note, just encourage them to take note of that person and things they do. And then at the end of the week or end of the day or end of the hour, depending on what works for you in your class, just writing them a little note or drawing them a little picture, telling them about 3 strengths that you saw them use. So, for example, if I had my buddy I might have seen them being brave when they were asked to get up in front of the class and speak, and I know that they don't necessarily like to do that. I might have seen them be kind when they shared their pencils with someone, and I might have seen them using teamwork when they were outside doing a PE activity. So it's just, naming those things, taking the time for the person that's watching to really step back and look at someone else and gain an appreciation of the things that they do. But then the person that gets the note or the drawing gets that sense of, wow, the things that I do in this classroom do affect the people around me, and that's a really, really powerful lesson to learn. So those are the 4 activities that I definitely think, definitely recommend if you'd like to have a go at the start of the year to put them into your classroom program. Just really starts creating those positive relationships and helping each of the students in your class feel as though they are seen and heard. Now, there are many more ideas in the Classroom Connections project. If you'd like to head onto my website and order one of those. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I've got lots of ideas, other things that you can do as well. And there's some really good resources that I'll link in the notes for this video as well today, if you'd like to do a little bit more learning about the research behind these ideas. So if you haven't already, head to my website and download the PDF, 6 Simple Ways to Classroom Wellbeing. And that'll give you some more, not just relationship building, but lots of positive psychology ideas that you can start the year with that'll really help in building that positive classroom environment. So hopefully you've got something out of that today. I really hope that you find some of this useful. I really hope that you have a wonderful start to 2024 in your new classroom. and I really look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you so much for joining me and for being a champion for the well-being of the children in your care. Ka kite.